Welcome back. Welcome back to Inside Dobe. Once again, I don't know if this microphone's working. I hope it is. But fuck, what a hell of a weekend of football. I actually got to sit down and watch every game. So from Wednesday all the way through till last night, Gold Coast, West Coast. It was unbelievable. It was so good. I feel they got the matchups just right. Even the shit teams were playing each other, which made those games very, very exciting. No, it was good, and I really like that they spread it out. I hate when they've got all the games on at the same time, or else you just can't watch all the games, and you don't really want to go watch a replay. You always want to watch it live. So it was fucking awesome to be able to sit down and really knuckle into just some football siren to siren. It was so good. Melbourne Bulldogs feels like a week ago. Well, it almost was. Feels like weird to react to this one, but obviously Petrarca best on ground, 3 votes. So weird that 2 games in a row he's had like 2 career games. In the grand final had 39 and 2, and the Dogs let him get away with 38 and 2 as well. So I'll tell you what, the Dogs will need to put some work into Cripps this week. I'm telling you what, if they let Cripps get anywhere near that, or the Carlton mids get anywhere like they did, I feel that we're going to go over the top of them as well. Apparently Bond's not playing. Look, you want all teams playing at absolute full tilt, full capacity at their best. You don't want to beat a good team with when they've got players missing. So let's hope that all players get up for that. No COVID shit ruins this game. But yeah, going into the Blues and the Tigers, the Blues were unbelievable. I feel that's going to be a game sort of like Melbourne's last game of the year against Geelong when they came back and they got top spot. I feel after that point, Melbourne were never looking like losing. I just feel this win for the Blues after not beating the Tigers for 11 years. The confidence of the Blues, if we win this week, the sky's the limit for the boys. Top 4. Sign it. If we win this week, it is a top 4 finish for the Carlton Blue Baggers. I'm telling you what, like, lock that in. You should get on now. I don't even know what's playing on Sportsbet. It's probably very short. But the Blues were insane. The Blue 4 mids, Cherak, Cripps, we had Kennedy and George Hewitt were unbelievable. Between them, did mention on the 100K, 121 touches, 26 clearances, and 6 goals between them. They were absolutely electric. The Tigers, nervous times. Obviously, they got Dion Prestia went out and Jack Rewalt. They won't have them this week. And they're versing a very good GWS, which I'll touch on in a minute. Unsure about the Tigers. I think they'll be fine. Tough game this week, but the Blues, all steam ahead. I think they're going to have to get Vossi to Skype in this week. But fuck, we looked absolutely incredible. And Charlie and Harry didn't even play well. So look for them to have a massive game this week. Going on to Saints and Collingwood, I told you he's this star pickup for the Collingwood Magpies. Probably the steal of any pickup, any recruit, apart from Cher and Hewitt, of course, for the Blues. But Patrick Lipinski, he had 30-1 in his debut for the Pies. He was the shining star. He really got them going, and he was by far best on ground. A very close second, though, Jack Hayes. He had 18-3. With Paddy Ryder out, he stepped in to be that other big man, got down forward. The commentators were saying, apparently, I think he was in the Sandful, maybe Waffle. I'm pretty sure the Sandful, and the write-ups in the papers were, how isn't this man been in the league before? He was incredible, went forward, was their only really shining light. Jack still had a bit of a quiet game. And Nick Dacos, I thought he was unbelievable. Apart from that first turnover where the Saints got going, I think he kicked it to Membry. Apart from that, he was so silky. He had 27 touches. He looks right at home. Very small, much smaller than what I thought, but he fucking dominated. I thought both the Dacos boys were elite. And Collingwood were a lot better than what I thought. I thought they were going to be dog shit. But it just goes to show how well the fucking Saints are going. Fucking hate the Saints. They are terrible. Max King played pretty well. Just still can't mark it. He's such an iffy player. Like, when he gets going, he had a massive game last year against West Coast where he kicked 5 or 6. But he's just a touch off. But hope Max King will turn it around because I do like him and he has a massive year. But I told you, Patrick Lipinski, 3 votes for that game. He's going to be an absolute handful for opposition midfields all throughout the year. Next game, we had Geelong and the Bombers. The old Cats looked young. They looked absolutely unbelievable. I thought Danger was best on with 31-1, 8 clearances, and 511 metres gained on the game. He got him going early. He would be the hardest player to play on. He goes a million miles an hour at all contests. He went out. He really got them going early. Just behind, we had Nick Martin. I'll tell you what, this rising star odds. I haven't seen them yet, but it's probably has to be one of the best debut rounds for all rising stars. Like Nick Martin, he doesn't even have a photo on the AFL app. Like he had the number one fantasy points for the game. He had 27 and 5 on debut, which is unbelievable. Yeah, he doesn't even have a photo on the AFL app. If you go on there, he's still there. Apparently, I think he's just playing waffle footy. Got picked up, I think in the last round, or undrafted, and got picked up by the Bombers. He was amazing. And look, for the Cats, I didn't have them making the 8, but boy, am I going to eat my words. They looked unbelievable. And Jeremy Cameron obviously went down. You still have Menegola to come in and Mitch Duncan. They look absolutely prime. Chris Scott said before the game, they're not going to shy away from what they're not good at, and they're really going to try and look towards what they are good at, double down on that, and just go and go. Even if they make mistakes over the first few rounds, they'll be looking at just focusing on what they're good at, which seems to be a lot better. Them not holding onto the ball like they were last year. They were so attacking. So if they put up those sort of numbers every week, they are going to be so hard to beat. And even though it was at the G, so look for them to put up even bigger scores at the Cattery. But dark times for the Bombers. Obviously, they had a lot of players out, but still, what they served up was absolute dog shit. That was one of the weaker performances of the round, and probably that I've ever seen in my life. Now, this was my favourite game of the week, obviously apart from the Baggers getting up, but Swans and GWS, that was one of the hardest, toughest games that I'd seen. I thought both McCartan boys down back, obviously Swans did get the win. Both the McCartan boys were amazing down back. Now, I'm going to put this out there. Nick Blakey, the Lizard, he had 646 metres gained. I think he's going to be an All-Australian this year. I've put it out there. Nick Blakey, the Lizard, he was running so hard. I'll tell you what, if Darcy Byrne-Jones can be All-Australian, Nick Blakey, the Lizard, off that half back, his run and dash, he has an absolute laser of a left foot. He was hitting up everyone. He had 22 touches. If Darcy Byrne-Jones can be All-Australian, why can't Nick Blakey? I think the Swans are going to win a shit ton of games. He was free running. I thought he was unbelievable. GWS 2 best players by far. Tom Green, he looks like he's eaten himself. He is fucking double the size. He looks huge. Between him and Tim Taranto, they were easily both best on. They had 59 touches and 3, but it just wasn't enough to compare to the Swans' best on ground, Isaac Heaney and Luke Parker, who had 46 between them and 8 goals. If they can do that every week, the Swans are going to be an absolute handful. The contest was unbelievable. It was one of the toughest games I've ever seen, especially for a round one. Both teams were getting it done. I think GWS is still going to be really good. The Swans got it done. Let's hope Bud can kick his 100. No, we don't want him to kick it this week. We want to wait till he gets to round 3 against the Dogs so we can kick it in Melbourne so Jeff can get down and rub Bud on the head. That'd be very funny. Next game, Port Adelaide and Brisbane. Lions won by 11. I thought it was very scrappy. I hated this game. Lions had a good fight back. A lot of injuries for Port. The only real positives for them, like I said, Wines and Boak. Those two winning it at the source. Wines had 31, Boak had 32 and a snag. The old head, just get it done. Those two just within clearances were amazing. Yeah, I know, it was a bit of a nothing game. I think the weather was shit. It was really dewy. It was terrible to watch. The first quarter was one of the worst quarters I've ever seen in my life. I think Port will still bring it back, but Brisbane, really good win on the home deck. And then we got into the Sunday slate. Hawks and North, I thought it was going to be the worst game of the round. I actually really enjoyed it. Hawks by 20. North were rolling really early. Some positives for them. Their midfield, Luke Davies-Uniacke had 27. Hall had 31. Simpkin had 29, started really well. And Luke McDonald on the half-back line. The silver top taxi, I think they call him that because he's got a bit of silver in his hair. He was unbelievable off the half-back line. Jason Horne-Francis looks really good. I think he only had just the 13 touches, kicked a really good goal. He looks ready-made for the AFL. I think he's going to have a massive year. I still have him for my number one to win the Rising Star, so I hope he does. I still think North are going to be really good. Well, not really good, but a lot better than what people think. The Hawks was very surprising. I thought they were my pick for the wooden spoon. Sicily on return had 27. Didn't miss a beat, came back. He's so experienced back there. He dominated the whole game. I thought Jack Dunstan, Dunno, shout out Dunno wherever you are. But no, Jack Gunston up forward, kicked 3 goals for, should have had 5 plus. He's just a professional forward. He just does it so easy, just works off his man, runs wherever he wants. I thought he was amazing. But Tom Mitchell, I had him for getting 50 touches. He didn't get quite near that. He had 29, but he's an absolute wizard at clearances. Every clearance, he either gets his hands on it or like a clear possession, or he gets his hand on it and taps it. He's unbelievable. The way that he gets front and center, works his position, and they get it to him. They didn't even have McAvoy hitting it down his throat. So when they get him back, look for him to have a couple of 50-touch games. I'm actually calling it the first McAvoy game, big boy back in. Tom Mitchell's having 50. Put your life on that. Hawks got it done by 20. I thought it was actually a very entertaining game. Next one, we had Freo and Adelaide. Freo getting it done by a point. It was very entertaining, I think, just off the matchups. I don't think both teams will be right in towards the back end of the year, but I think they're both evenly matched to where they are. I think it was a steaming hot day, 32 degrees. They all looked absolutely knackered. Ben Keys ran all day, had 37. Ben Keys actually does look like the penguin from Surf's Up. So if you haven't seen, I'll try and get a photo. They look absolutely identical, but he ran all day. Ben Keys. Big positive for Freo, even though they got done. No Fife, no Sean Darcy, and Matty Tab. Like, you look at those three, probably the most three influential players last year. Or you could say, like, within their team, they're most important. So I feel once they get those guys back in, they'll really help them going forward. But Josh Rochelle had 14 touches and 5 goals. He looked unbelievable. Another one of these rising star guys that came up. Pick number 6 for Adelaide. I thought he didn't look out of place at all. I just thought he was a little bit smaller in size than what I thought. I thought he would be a little bit bigger, but he was unbelievable. Every single shot, like, he wanted to take those set shots. He wanted the ball in his hands. He looked very safe up forward, and I think he's going to have a really good season, even though Adelaide will be about bottom of the pack. And then last game, West Coast and the Suns last night. Really good comeback by the Suns. They were thereabouts. West Coast were pushing them all the way, but the Suns did end up getting it done in the end. Though it was like a draw with 5 minutes to go, and the Suns ended up blowing them out by 27 within the last 5 minutes. Tuke Miller is so fucking explosive. He had 29 and 1. Isaac Rankin back. He had 23 and 4. But Matty Rao, good to have him back in the AFL. He's an absolute bull. He copped one of the biggest hits from Willie Rioli. A front on. At the time, I didn't think it was bad, but apparently Willie Rioli might get a week. But Big Rao jumped straight back up. He had 33 touches. He had a career high in handballs, kicks, contested possessions. Every category had a career high. He hunted that footy from the first quarter. I thought he was unbelievable. But it's amazing the West Coast could still stay in it. And then they still had Liam Ryan out, Oscar Allen, Jamie Cripps, Jack Darling, Tim Kelly, Luke Shuey, Dom Sheed, Brad Shepherd, Elliot Yeo. There are so many big name players, and they were still able to keep it in. I think it's just because they had Petrevsky-Seton in. He must have taken that losing culture from the Blues over the West Coast. But all in all, I think it was a fucking good round of footy. Biggest takeaways, Blues are going to be top 4. Lipinski's going to be the draft, I guess, the recruit of the year. I still think Horn Francis is going to be rising star. That's pretty much it. GWS and Swans, I think they're going to both go a long way. But Nick Blakey will be All-Australian at the end of the year on the halfback line. That is my recap from Inside Dobe. I will be doing another one as we get a little bit later into the round, my predictions. But I'll tell you what, I got a bloody lot right, and I think I will for the next episode as well. So make sure you tune in to the next one, Inside Dobe. It should be out. I think the game is on. Carlton and Dogs are on Thursday, so I'll probably get it out on Thursday morning. Have a good rest of your week. If there's any other things that you agree or disagree with, make sure you put them in the comments. I'll get back to you. And hey, let's have a hell of a week. Go the fucking Baggers. You!